Happy Thursday, everybody. Coming in pretty much right on time. Well, I said Monday for our returning people, 11:31, but, pretty spot on to what I said. Welcome into Concrete Jungle, New York Baseball Podcast. I'm Paul Russo. To my right, Kyle Evans, Nate Sharman behind the scenes. Coming to you guys live from the third floor of the North Park Building, Center Falls, New York, FingerLakes1.com. Boys, like I said, happy Thursday. How's everybody feeling? Everybody doing before once we got through the week and head towards the weekend?
Yeah, doing wonderful. Can't wait for the weekend. Obviously, I'll be at the stadium this weekend. Red Sox, Yankees, couldn't ask for a better matchup. Hopefully, Yankees can pull a couple wins out.
Yeah, definitely a little jealous that you're going to be at Yankee Stadium. Would love to be there this weekend. Going to be an awesome series. Paul, you can blame 11:31 on your producer if you'd like. I'll take the fall for that.
No, we were pretty spot on. Like I said, we were close. I said 11:30, might be a little delayed. We were there. Spot on. It's weird. Usually you head into the All-Star break for teams. Usually there's a lot more to talk about, but it's weird. This might be one of our shorter ever editions, to be honest with you. There's not an uber ton to really fully talk about. That being said, there is still, plenty to get to, but it's kind of weird, kind of a ho-humish week. For the Mets, there was nothing too crazy news-wise for them. The Yankees, stuff to get to there, but again, there's nothing super overwhelming in terms of, I guess, exact things to really bring up. It's kind of like one of those no news is good news style. I mean, obviously there's some, like I said, the Yankees do have a couple injury blips that have popped up, but, like I said, compared to some other weeks that we've had, I mean, this has kind of been a more quiet, tame week.
Yeah, and compared to previous seasons, I remember the Yankees have dealt with so many injuries over the last few years. And this year, I mean, besides the last couple of days, they've kind of been pretty healthy, and that's kind of the reason for their record this season. 62 wins, just amazing.
I know we start with the Yankees on Monday. We'll do the Mets today. Obviously, the Mets it ended up being a good series for them, a pivotal one in Atlanta. Able to get a little bit more breathing room than they had. Came in the series a game and a half up. Exit 2.5 up. Took 2 of 3 against Atlanta. Like I said, ended up being, a pretty good series for them. On Monday, it was a 4-1 victory. Battle of the Maxes. Max Scherzer came out victorious. Moves to 6-1 on the year. ERA now falls to 2.15. Max Fried for the Braves picked up a loss, 9-3. A 2.5 ERA for him pretty much. And then save Edwin Diaz with his 19th of the year. Max Scherzer, 7 innings, 3 hits, 1 earned, and 9 strikeouts. Luis Guillorme had himself a day, 2 for 3, home run, a double, a walk, picked up a couple RBIs, and also scored 1 run, obviously with a home run. Then Brandon Nimmo, 1 for 3, a double, 2 walks, and 2 runs scored. Nimmo's name has popped up. Guillorme's proved to be a nice little spark plug when the Mets need him to be so far this year. Probably hasn't fully panned out the way they'd hoped, but nonetheless, still a very good player overall in the grand scheme of things. And Max Scherzer, pretty much one of the classic Mad Max performances we've become used to seeing throughout the big leagues over the course of the past decade.
Yeah, my biggest takeaway from this series is just the pitching. The pitching was just really, really good. A lot of people forget the Braves have, over the last month and a half or so, they've been one of the best teams in baseball, and they kind of just shut their offense down. It was just very impressive to watch.
The Braves are an interesting team to me. So obviously, we kind of had the news break-ish of sorts with them bringing on Cano on Monday.
Had a couple hits, right?
Yeah, here's the thing with the Braves, and obviously, we can go down this path a little bit, given the Mets division rival. They don't scare me like they did last year in that sense. And I think a lot of it is just because that the second base position currently to me is just the hole for them. Obviously, Albies done pretty much for the year. I mean, I know he has a shot to come back late in the year / playoffs, but at the moment, they had like Phil Gosselin out there. Now they're gonna give Cano a run. I don't know. Obviously, I think they'll probably go ahead and look. They're contenders. They're going to be buyers at the deadline. They have been usually the past couple of years anyway. They'll probably go out and try and get somebody. That being said, I they just don't scare me this year the way they have in years past. It's why, um, I know we had this discussion off air more or less than we did on air on Monday, where is it time to panic for the Mets? And I don't see it yet. Only because I brought up obviously the Braves don't scare me. Not to I guess take the steam out of you on this one, Kyle. You brought up a good point. The Phillies kind of coming on here lately. Again, they're a team that doesn't exactly frighten me either at this point.
9 games out.
Yeah,
So
they don't. They have pieces. I don't know. And look, there's a lot of Yankee fingerprints, oddly enough, anyway, on the Phillies, right? I mean, obviously with Girardi, who was their manager, and now interim with Robbie Thompson. Obviously Didi there too, but nobody on that team right now frightens me exactly. I mean, they're starting pitching in Philly. They probably have collectively, when they've been healthy this year, maybe the best technically in the NL East. I think we've kind of slept on them a little bit in that sense, whether it's Nola. Zach Wheeler's really come on pretty good as of late. But, I mean, there's just nobody there. It's weird. Like, the NL East team that scares me if I'm the Mets is going to be a team like the Marlins, who they've seen plenty of in the end of June, beginning of July now, and who are just pesky and hang around because they do have talent there. Probably still a good year and a half, 2 years out from kind of reaching their potential. But a team like that where they're just pesky, they have enough talent to just kind of give you worries. But I guess the two main monsters is they don't frighten me if I'm a Mets fan at this point.
yeah, I'll say it again. The Braves aren't winning that division, but I do think the race will continue to be tight all the way down the stretch. I don't think it's just going to be as easy as we originally thought for the Mets. As you said, the Braves will probably make some moves at the deadline. Obviously, the Mets will too. They definitely need to address the bullpen. But yeah, I think it'll be a pretty tight race down the stretch.
Yeah, I mean it's. I don't know. I think a lot of it has to do with the buying and selling. Obviously, that's probably it's a couple weeks down the road, at least discussion wise. I think we're really kind of jumping the meat potatoes of it and see who kind of does what and how we feel about stuff at that point overall. Let's move on to Tuesday here. 4-1 Brave victory. Tyler Matzik picked up the win out of the bullpen. 1-2, a 3.24 ERA for him. David Peterson had actually a really good outing going. Just kind of lost the wheels there for a brief second. He moves to 5-2 on the year. Picked up the loss. A 3.48 ERA, and then AJ Minter the save for Atlanta, 4th on the year. Peterson, like I mentioned, really good outing for him overall. Just kind of lost the wheels there at the end. Went 5 1/3, 2 hits, 2 earned, and 9 strikeouts. Francisco Lindor had an RBI triple, went 1 for 4 on the day, and Eduardo Escobar also went 1 for 3, a double and a walk there. So, yeah, we talk about Peterson here. I don't know how many different times over again. Did what he had to do, kind of kept the team in it, and just too little, too late run support wise for him.
Yeah, he's actually really impressed me. I know I've kind of not been too high on him this season, but every time I kind of like say that, he just kind of shuts me up by performing really well. So he's been impressive, especially with some injuries to the rotation. He stepped up big, and he deserved better.
And it's kind of why I know this portion of it was completely off air and actually a discussion that myself, Caleb was in on it yesterday a little bit. I don't know if Nate was able to hear a little bit of it. We were talking with Josh Durso here in the office a little bit. Who do the Mets kind of go after at the deadline? And of course, I mean, no matter what team you root for, right, arms are always, a premium. You can never have enough of them. But that being said, with me with the Mets, I think at the very least, David Peterson's kind of certainly at this point earned the right to at least compete with that fifth starter spot now at this point, moving forward, right? Obviously, you'll have DeGrom here probably, presumably within the next 3 to 4-ish weeks at the very latest, presumably sooner as long as everything goes well. The next couple starts with probably, obviously for sure, Syracuse tonight on Thursday if you're listening live. Probably another one there, and then if they have to go with one more, it's probably going to be whoever the Mets are closer to, whether it be Syracuse or Binghamton that given day. right? Scherzer's back already. Taiwan Walker's and Cookie Carrasco have gone above and beyond. I think the only way Peterson probably doesn't have that fifth starter spot is probably if they go out and get an arm, or at least a starting arm. I don't know fully who you go knocking the door on for that. Like I know I mentioned probably a week or so ago now at this point about how, and this is also for the Yankees side too, right? How the buyers at the deadline, their usual sellers, aren't going to be the usual sellers this year. I think like you look at a team that's had a really good resurgence, like Baltimore has the past couple weeks. That's kind of thrown some things in a loop. Seattle as well at this point, although I don't think Seattle would have been true sellers, for example, at the deadline. It's gotten to the point now where even the Rockies aren't necessarily sold on being sellers at the deadline either, just as another team, for example, to kind of throw into the mix here. So, again, just another kudos shout out to David Peterson there.
Yeah, I agree with that. They definitely have to address the bullpen. Adam Ottavino and Seth Lugo have just not been able to get it done a lot lately. And I think 100% they'll definitely add one, but I think they might even add two arms, which will definitely be much better for their pen to hold on to leads late in the game. Because if you look at their losses this year, a lot of games they have led, and their bullpen kind of just gives it away at the end. So yeah, I think bullpen should be number one, but number two, yeah, they probably should go out and try to grab another starter just for, you can never have too much starting pitching.
Right. Yeah, so kind of saw a really good example of this, obviously, with Chris Bassett here on Wednesday. Yesterday, a 7-3 victory for him. Bassett moves to 7-6 on the year now, a 37.9 ERA. Charlie Morton, the loss for Atlanta, 5-4, 4.45 ERA for him. Bassett went 6 innings, 5 hits, an earned run, and 6 strikeouts. Again, Brandon Nimmo kind of holding the drum at the top of the order for the Mets, went 2 for 5 and scored 2 runs. Then Francisco Lindor, 1 for 5, but a 3-run home run as well as 2 runs scored there. It's weird with the way Chris Bassett kind of has been the past really month and a half at this point. Not too sure what to make of it. This was probably the best quality outing he's had since probably really the beginning of June. Obviously, he was missed one time through the rotation with COVID. I'm a Chris Bassett truther. I mean, I wanted the Yankees to make a run at him. I think everybody kind of goes through these lulls in the season, right? We talk about how, you can't really, get hung up on some things. Everybody kind of goes through a week or so. Hopefully, if you're the Mets, this is a sign that Bassett has kind of taken a turn off of a couple rough starts that he's had in a row here. But that being said, it's weird how you kind of have, again, I mentioned like a guy like Peterson's kind of hanging in the background there, kind of showing like I can do the job done, I can get it done. And then Bassett, is forced to perform and probably did so a little bit yesterday in my mind.
Yeah, I don't know. Chris Bassett has been interesting. Overall, though, I think he's done a pretty solid job considering how we kind of thought he was coming into the year. Overall, though, their pitching's not the issue. I think their pitching is obviously their strength. Besides their bullpen, their bullpen's a little weak. Their offense is, like I said, they struggled a little bit last month, but I think they're starting to pick it up a little bit, and I think they're going to get back on track and kind of roll. But like I said, the Braves are still going to be there. I just think it's going to be a tight race.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't necessarily disagree with you being a tight race per se. It's just that I don't I don't
see them winning the division by 8 games.
I'm not very frightened of anybody else. So like I said, it's just
they're not in danger of losing
the
East.
Right.
They're just, it's not going to be easy is basically what I'm saying.
Yeah. No, I agree with you there. It's just one of those, I think, we're both on the same plane. I think we're just going different ways about it, As for, news and notes, I mentioned there's really nothing new on the transaction or injury front for the Mets that we didn't really say on Monday, which is good. Obviously, teased it a little bit more, but here's the thing. I know it's a solid crowd, not to jump ahead really too much into our on the farm stuff and mentioning, Syracuse, but DeGrom obviously rehab start tonight in Syracuse. It's funny. I chuckled his picture on the websites of his last AAA start, which would have been with the Mets then affiliate, the Las Vegas 51s. So,
Jeez.
yeah, he had the long hair still back then and everything like that. So, like I mentioned, hopefully positive, everything goes good there, and probably see him. Like I said, I think the 3 to 4 week thing is the worst case scenario for DeGrom. Probably for sure, I'd say in the 2 week range would be expected to, as long as everything goes good anyway, to see him back in the big league uniform.
Yeah, it's going to be just crazy to watch him and Scherzer go back to back, in the rotation. It's going to be a lot of fun to watch.
Right. The Mets, 4 games in Chicago against the Cubs this weekend, starting today through Sunday. Personally, my favorite venue in the MLB, Wrigley Field. They'll be visiting. Cubs, 4th in the NL Central. Things are not going to the way that even they had probably hoped were. They set 14.5 back in the division, a 34-54 record for the team. Tonight, the lone night game of the series, an 8:05 first pitch Eastern time on SNY. Cookie Carrasco goes. He's 9-4, a 4.55 ERA. He'll be facing off against quietly having a good year, Keegan Thompson, 7-3, 3.04 ERA for him. Tomorrow, Friday, 2:20 first pitch SNY. Taijuan Walker, 7-2, a 2.63 ERA against Marcus Stroman, a former Met last year, 2-5, a 4.91 ERA there. Saturday on your local picks affiliate at 2:20, Max Scherzer, 6-1. Obviously, you mentioned that earlier against. Here's a name for everybody, blast from the past. Drew Smiley for the Cubs, 2-5, a 4.43 ERA for him. And then on Sunday at 2:20 on SNY, David Peterson against Adrian Sampson, 0-1, a 3.33 ERA for him. That's the slot normally filled by Kyle Hendricks, who's on the IL for the Cubs. I want to say sweep, but as I've mentioned on here countless times over, the 4-game sweep is one of the hardest things to do. That being said, it's weird. Like I think the Cubs probably do get one just by you play the numbers game in baseball, right? I mean, the Cubs should probably, in theory, get one somewhere.
Or how about the Cubs? How about the Cubs get all of them? I'm kidding.
I don't know about
I'm
that.
kidding.
But I don't see where. So I will go against the grain for what I usually say. I'm going to go a Mets 4-game sweep.
I say a 3 or 4. There'll just be a game where, I don't know, the offense doesn't show up and the pitching does. So 3 or 4. Still a really good road series if they take 3 or 4.
Right. And into the All-Star break. So
yep.
Can't be mentioned enough. All right, let's move on to the Yankees. Home for the final week of the before the first half of the season wraps up, hosting the Cincinnati Reds. Tuesday, a 4-3 Red victory. One of the more stranger games I'd say that I probably have ever witnessed in a couple different ways. Veer San Martin picks up the win out of the bullpen for the Reds, 2-4 on the year, an 8.10 ERA for him. Loss goes to Clay Holmes, 4-1 on the year, a 1.37 ERA, and brother of Edwin Diaz, Alexi Diaz, picks up the save for Cincinnati, his 3rd on the year. Garrett Cole got the start, gets credited with a no decision. Very beyond good performance for him for what I think many Yankee fans are hoping at this point. 7 innings, 4 hits, and 11 strikeouts. Gleyber Torres went 3 for 4, 2 doubles, a walk and 2 runs scored, and Anthony Rizzo had a 2 RBI single and walked, going 1 for 3 on the night.
Yeah, so Paul, what happened to my closer?
Yeah, look, mentioned it's baseball, right? The fact of the matter is, that's his first true blown save on the year, as I always call it, where he gets credit with the loss and everything like that. Bound to happen at some point, right? I mean, not even Mariano Rivera was perfect.
The thing is, it was wild though. Like he
Yeah,
wasn't even reporting out.
Yeah, I mean, it was just one of those games for him. Kind of Pittsburgh Pirates-esque Clay Holmes in a way.
And then he struggled last night, which I'm a little worried all of a sudden.
Well, we'll get to last night here in a moment, but the fact of the matter is, right, this is a Cincinnati Reds team that as the Yankees should do, you should probably really handle with relative ease. I mean, it's
This Reds team
not the
blows.
great. I mean, yeah. But at one point they were one of the hotter teams in baseball. So
I'd say worse than Nate's Pirates, probably, in my opinion.
for sure, yeah.
That's saying something there.
Wow. Yeah, I think the Pirates are technically third in the Central anyway. So either way, I don't know. Like I said, it's hard not to really say anything bad when it's baseball in a way, right? I mean, Clay Holmes is not going to be perfect every time he's out on the hill. Not going to be perfect, through a season period. This is the way baseball is. You got, a saying that I know I have not said on here. Baseball, you're considered a Hall of Famer when you fail 7 out of 10 times. Like it happens.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I know he's going to struggle at some point, but like I said, he just didn't even record an out. His pitches weren't even close. It was just like, whoa, what is happening? And then I seen on Twitter, a lot of people are thinking that he's being overused, so he's starting to get tired.
I mean, I guess maybe it's certainly possible this is the first time he's been in a role like this.
And remember in Boston, Boone was going to push him 2 innings too. So I don't know. Maybe he's getting tired.
Well, I mean, this is the first time too he's been in this kind of role where he's a high leverage guy, and not to say he wasn't put in high leverage situations in Pittsburgh, but his role wasn't quite being the full foot stopper, buck stops here type. He was the guy brought in like the 6th, 7th inning to keep things in check and move along.
Yeah, it's got to be because he's getting a little tired because literally his velocity was exactly the same. So,
I mean, that's part of baseball. I mean, we saw it with and I didn't put it in the notes portion of our notes, but I mean, look at Aaron Judge. I mean, they're kind of being precautionary with him every now and then at this point because they're worried about overusing him at this point. Not to say whatever, but I say it part tongue in cheek, even though it's pretty factual at this point. It's kind of surprising we haven't seen him or Giancarlo on the IL at all. Like, I mean, it's one of the things we come to used to where both those guys kind of end up on the IL for multiple times. I know Giancarlo had that time in May where he was, 3 weeks on the IL, something like that.
it's very short.
But usually, there's usually another trip at this point for him for him by this point in the summer. So, and Judge as well. So, I think it's probably use. I mean, that's a safe play. I don't want to give the doom and gloom and think that he's going to be out for a year and a half with Tommy John or something ridiculous like that.
No, the Yankees have a history of
Yeah.
the relievers blowing out their arms.
Yeah, that's true.
They overused Chad Green, and look where he is.
Yeah. So,
So
yeah, I don't know. Like I said, I think it's just it's what it is. One of those games, ho hum and move along.
that's
so.
why Loizaga will be huge to get back.
Yeah. Lasagna boy. Anyway, speaking of coming back, last night the Yankees come away with a final in 10 innings, 7-6 victory. We'll touch on the exact victorious moment here in a second, but win goes to Michael King out of the bullpen, 6-1, a 2.23 ERA for him. Alexi Diaz picks up the loss, his first out of the bullpen this year, 2-1, a 2.16 ERA for him. Your top performers, Isaiah Kiner-Falefa, 2 for 4, 2 doubles and 3 RBIs. Giancarlo Stanton had a solo home run and walked, and DJ LeMahieu went 2 for 5, 2 runs scored, including the winning walk-off wild pitch run.
So lame, but I'll take a win.
It's weird how baseball works in mysterious ways. I the past 2 weeks, I've seen a walk-off walk in person. I've seen now with this a wild pitch win.
And a walk-off balk.
Walk-off that.
I was
Walk-off.
gonna say, didn't the
balk.
Reds do a walk-off balk?
Yeah, they won on a walk-off balk against the Rays last week. So, to quote the great John Sterling, that's baseball.
Do you agree, though? Last night's game was one of the most weirdest games in a while. I mean, they fell behind 4-0. They took
I mean,
the
right
lead.
off the jump, right? And we'll obviously touch a little bit on that too here in just a couple minutes anyway. But
And the energy, I don't know. I just got a weird vibe about last night's
well, I
game.
don't want to say it's weird because I know this at least from experience coaching wise. Like you always try and no matter what the level really is, at least at the amateur point, kids or adults that just treat every game the same way. I don't know if they just came in, especially last night, thinking, well, we lost to them last night, we'll get them tonight because it's the Reds type, mindset. But I don't know. I wouldn't say it was a lax energy, but it was certainly weird in nature. You know what I mean? Like you brought up a good point with that. how like I said, I don't know if laxed or just not fully considering that they're still a major league team, but it was definitely a weird atmosphere.
Yeah, and it doesn't help when they, their most recent series was against Boston, and
Yeah.
then they come home to play the Reds. But
and they have Boston on deck.
Yep.
Too. Yeah, let's jump right into news and notes because obviously a story point of last night hinges on the main one, I guess, with this. But Severino exited last night's game with right shoulder tightness. Is scheduled to go in MRI at some point today. Presumably, he actually has probably already had it done. Now they're just waiting on results. But it's weird. Sevy's been really a kind of like one of the workhorses for the Yankees throughout really the past 6 or so years, give or take. Obviously, he's missed really big bulks of time, but when he's been on, he's just been phenomenal. But at this point, and look, I don't know. I mean, right shoulder tightness is again technically what Ron Marinaccio has with dead arm technically, but at this point, I think. I don't like jump into the worry thing, right? I mean, we just talked about with the Mets, like, is it time to worry? But I mean, Sevy with his arm issues, I'm starting to get worried anytime he has an issue quite like this.
yeah, and he said after the game that he woke up with shoulder tightness. So why didn't he tell somebody?
Right.
Why did he try to push it?
I almost wonder if he woke up, kind of got the day going a little bit. Now, obviously, pitchers the day that they're pitching and the day before and the day after, they don't do the workloads that they typically do, workout wise and warm up wise in nature compared to other days. I don't know if he got into his pregame workout, whether at the stadium or at home, depending upon where he starts it. Pitchers are strange beasts in nature. If he kind of got going and it just went away and he felt fine at that point.
Yeah.
I am with you. I think I think the smarter play would have at least still have been mentioning it to whether it be like G Monahan or Booney or Matt Blake, somebody I probably would have said something to like, hey, I had an issue waking up this morning, but did whatever, feel good to go. Let's go to work. Something to at least have not put the seed in the head the wrong way, but at least have it there so that way there's a plan of action to go if needed.
Yeah, and it's the Reds. Just tell Boone that, your shoulder's not feeling well and just start JP Sears.
And to his credit, Sears again came in a tough spot, did a phenomenal job, went 3 2/3, I think it was, right? Or
Yep.
3 1/3. And really did phenomenal. And Sears was optioned after the game last night to Scranton. I know you mentioned, right? I mean, there's going to be a corresponding move of some sort here today.
For Jonathan Lasagna.
Possibly. There's another name that you floated around, which is an interesting one, although I feel, I don't want to dampen you, there's no official news on it yet. I feel Domingo Germán will probably have one more start at AAA before getting officially called back up. Only because I know that they're still worried about that velo issue that we talked about on Monday a little bit. So, I don't know if we'll see Ryan Weber again. I don't know.
Or Clark.
That's true. Clark Schmidt.
He deserves to be up in the big leagues.
So, who knows? I mean, I know Scranton. I know Waldachek named to the futures game, so they're already minus another arm down there for the weekend. So who knows what's going to happen there on that front. Okay, more injury news. Like I mentioned, there wasn't really an overall ton of it. Aaron Hicks day-to-day with a right shin contusion. Obviously, you mentioned what happened with him. Fouled the ball off in the bat. X-rays and CT scans have all came back negative, so be day-to-day more or less as whenever he feels like he can completely get going again, they'll probably just reinsert him in the lineup at that point. I know technically he was available off the bench last night as a really last resort if needed. So
how did he not break his leg? That looked really bad.
I mean, they all do in a way. I mean, I know I
Couldn't
didn't
even walk.
I've never really fouled off the shin too much, but the couple times I did were never the most pleasant things in the world. I can tell you that much.
Thought for sure it was a broken leg.
And then person who I'm still not convinced is real because I still haven't seen him in the flesh. Catcher Ben Rodvet has began a rehab assignment with High Hay Hudson Valley.
How many more games before he gets hurt again? I'll say 2.
I don't know. I mean, at this point,
that's all it's been.
like I said, I don't know if he's even real at this point.
Dude, it's his 3rd rehab assignment.
So, for the Yankees, 1 game left with Cincinnati today, and then 3 games at home against the Boston Red Sox, who are 3rd in the AL East now, 15.5 back with a 47-42 record. Anyway, tonight, the main plan of action on 7:05 first pitch. Luis Castillo 3-4 at 2.92 ERA against Nestor Cortez 7-3 at 2.74 ERA. I'd like to imagine that the Yankees get it here, but might be Luis Castillo's audition for pinstripes here tonight. So I don't know. You drop your head back, I would bet you would be more than happy to see Castillo in pinstripes.
I would, but I just thought about that. If they were to lose tonight's game going into Boston, that'd be terrible.
It'd be terrible, but I mean, I think that would seal the deal for probably the Yankees' big fish at the deadline.
And I do not care that they have 62 wins. They should not be losing games to the Cincinnati Reds. Bottom line, period.
I don't necessarily disagree, but and then here's the thing, Yankee fans, with everything that's happened with Severino, the rotation's a little bit in question now for the weekend, so we don't have TBAs. And to be fair, the Red Sox are also in limbo for the weekend with their pitching. They're also TBA because I believe Nick Pivetta is still technically on the COVID IL. I could be wrong.
Yeah, and it sounds like Saturday he might go.
Yeah, so
and then Cutter Crawford maybe.
Yeah, so good news across the board if you're a Red Sox fans listening. We don't know who's pitching for anybody in this series or where.
Should be Sale Sunday though.
But here's what we can tell you though. Is it officially?
What if they ask Kyle Evans to come out of the crowd, throw a couple innings?
Well,
he's done it in Newark. Why can't he do it in New York?
He didn't do it for Newark. He was officially rostered player.
I'm just having fun.
The disrespect shown to the pilots. So anyway, tomorrow night, 7:05 first pitch on Amazon Prime Video. Saturday, it's Saturday Night Baseball, 7:15 on Fox, and Sunday, 1:35 on Yes.
I was more getting at that Kyle Evans is ready to go when asked upon. Wasn't meant to throw any disrespect anyway.
You're good, Nate. I enjoy having fun with you on that one.
I'd probably rack up 5 strikeouts or something like that.
Not 9.
No.
Strike out Joey Gallo with your eyes closed.
Oh, easily.
I don't want to be the bearer of bad news, but a little Tykes T could strike out Joey Gallo. Yeah, so I don't know what to make of the Yankee series, to be honest with you, only because of the pitching questions.
Oh, it'll be a sweep.
I'd love nothing more than the sweep Boston, but I just don't think it's going to happen with the question marks.
How about we talk a little bit about Tyler Wade?
Yeah, I forgot. We didn't bring up that news, so go ahead, Kyle. I'll let you take the wheel on that one.
Man is back. Tyler Wade. I believe he's gonna end up going to AAA. But they made a trade with the Angels to bring him back. Nice utility guy off the bench, can bring speed, can pretty much play anywhere. Struggles to hit though. My opinion though, it won't be long before he's up.
Yeah, I mean, and of course the Yankees gave up noble top prospect cash considerations. So let's dive into our minor league brethren before we head out of here. I don't want to get too cheeky with this and sound whatever, but if the Rochester Red Wings, look, it's baseball. I'm anticipating that they will lose one more throughout the week. I don't want it to happen, obviously.
They're not gonna, Paul.
I think it will happen.
They're not gonna.
But, look, I don't want to dive into this deep conversation, but the fact of the matter is the fact that pretty much a third of the Omaha Storm Chaser roster will be in Toronto this weekend now bodes pretty well, I'd say. That being said, the Red Wings and Storm Chasers have split the first 2 games so far in the series.
Wait, could you tell us why they're all going to be up there?
So there are 10 Kansas City Royals who will be placed there. I think they're officially on the restricted list starting tonight after they technically land in Toronto. That are on the restricted list because they aren't vaccinated. Of note, Yankee potential, now hopefully non-potential trade targets, Michael A. Taylor and Andrew Benintendi.
I hope they still target both of them.
I don't. It's not worth it. It's not worth it to me in case something stupid happens. You have to go to Toronto multiple times in the playoffs.
Well, Sometimes that happens, just like injuries.
I don't want to be that guy, but I'd rather would have at least Joey Gallo's body out there than Michael A. Taylor or Benintendi's
Well,
non-existent one.
The thing is, when he's at the plate, there's really nobody up there. I mean, it's automatic out. So,
All true as that may be, he has more of a chance to get a hit at least than somebody not there.
it's pretty sad how bad that guy is at baseball.
Yeah.
Good fielder, but hitting, no.
I don't know. I think we've had this. I don't know if we've had this exact discussion on here, but
That we like him as a person, but as a baseball
well,
player, no.
not well that, but I'm talking about just I think he's a lot like Sonny Gray. I think New York just is not the right fit for him, and he'll go elsewhere and go back to hitting somewhere in the 250, 275 range again and being pretty good.
Oh yeah, I'll go somewhere else and just start mashing.
Right.
But I think this is the Joey Gallo hate episode. We might have to retitle it. Paul.
No. It's the one before the All-Star break. Before I Chandler Bing this enough as is. So Rochester, 5-2 victory Tuesday night. Francisco Perez picks up the win. Daniel Mengden for the Storm Chasers took the loss. And then Tyler Clippard picked up the save for Rochester. More on him in a second. But Cade Cavalli, no decision, went 3 2/3, 2 hits, 1 run, and none earned, and 6 strikeouts. So maybe not distance-wise what you hope with Cavalli, but certainly quality-wise, another really good one for him. Andrew Stevenson went 2 for 5 with a 3-run home run. A.K.A. Dad Power, congrats to him. And Nicky Banks, your guy was Nicky one bag, unfortunately. Nate with 1 for 2, like I mentioned, a single, picked up an RBI, but 2 walks and a run scored for him. And then yesterday on Wednesday, Omaha won 6-1. Andres Nunez picked up the win, and Carson Teal the loss for Rochester. Jake Knoll, 2 for 4. Taylor Gushu went 2 for 4, and Joey Meneses 1 for 3. So, like I mentioned, a split to get going out of the gate. But I'm probably putting a little bit of expectation too high moving forward for the weekend, knowing what I think all baseball fans probably know at this point, given Omaha's affiliation with Kansas City.
Yeah, and I just wanted to point out, Cavalli did leave the game early with a finger issue. But manager Matt LaCroix told us after the game that it was just like a skin issue. It wasn't even a blister, so he should be fine.
Interesting.
But, yeah.
Like I said, I mean, I didn't know that, but like I said, I mean, it was, again, just another really good quality performance for Cavalli.
Yeah, I believe it's 10 consecutive innings without allowing an earned run.
Yeah.
So, really good.
Couple news and notes for them. Right-handed pitcher Corey Abbott was recalled by Washington. Third baseman Jake Olu was assigned from Double-A Harrisburg. He's already had a little bit of an impact on offensively. Right-handed pitcher Tyler Clippard was selected from Washington following Tuesday night's save. And the aforementioned Cade Cavalli was named IL Pitcher of the Week last week and named to the MLB Futures game. Also of note, Joseph Morneau and longtime Rochester Red Wing beat writer Jim Mandelario will be inducted into the Rochester Red Wing Hall of Fame on July 26th.
Pretty cool stuff there.
Yeah, so really excited to see. Hopefully Cade can maybe get a little bit of work. I know that's on Saturday, but probably doubtful in that Futures game. And then also kudos to him for being Pitcher of the Week. Was a I-90 sweep of the awards there, which we'll touch on obviously with Syracuse.
Yeah, both teams are playing really well.
Rochester officially sitting 45-41, fourth in the IL East. Still a game back. Like we've mentioned, here the IL East has kind of tightened up here pretty closely over the course of the past really 3 weeks. Over in Syracuse, hosting Jacksonville Tuesday with 4-0 shutout victory for the Jumbo Shrimp. Jake Fishman picked up the win. Thomas Sapucki the loss for Syracuse. Sapucki, though, again, another really good performance for him. Went 6 innings, gave up 5 hits, 1 earned run, a walk, and 8 strikeouts. Mark Ventios went 2 for 4, and Travis Blinghorn also went 1 for 3 and picking up a base hit. Just no run support for Sapucki. Like I said, it kind of is weird sometimes with the S-Mets, but very big positive knowing that a couple of your big names, at least on offense, did try and produce and get going. And Sapucki, again, another really good plus performance from him.
Yeah, he struggled at times, but that was a really good outing for him. It's gonna be interesting to see if he keeps it up. And overall, though, the pitching for Syracuse, I'm really shocked. Like, I cannot believe how well they've turned it around. It's just really good to see.
Mm-hmm. And then last night, 11-6, the bats came alive for Syracuse as they pick up the win. Eric Orsi picks up the win for them. Matthew Kent the loss for Jacksonville. Mark Ventios went 2 for 5, home run, 4 total RBIs there. And the home run was a 3-run shot, and then 2 runs scored. Travis Blankenhorn, 2 for 4, 2 RBIs and runs scored. Then Khalil Lee, have yourself a day, 3 for 4, 2 solo home runs, 2 runs scored there. So good to see the offense really bounce back in a really positive way on Wednesday last night for the Mets. Some news and notes for them. Left-hand pitcher Sam Clay was activated off the reserve list. Right-hand pitcher Justin Dillon was assigned to the Single-A St. Lucie Mets on a rehab assignment from Syracuse. And then utility man Travis Blankenhorn was named International League Player of the Month for June. He smashed over 400 on the average department. Has really came alive for the Syracuse Mets of late anyway. And then infielder Kasuki Kato was named the International League Player of the Week last week. And catcher Francisco Alvarez also named to the MLB Futures game on Saturday. So a lot of positive stuff once again coming out of Syracuse here as they've really started to hit their stride. Again, still 10 games below 500 at 38 and 48. But as I mentioned, things have tightened up in the IL East, and at the very least, they've been showing a lot of leg, and as you mentioned, a lot of positive momentum going in their favor.
Yeah, I was just thinking back to April and May. I remember we were sitting here and we were like just talking about how bad the offense was, and if the offense was on, the pitching wasn't, vice versa. And now it just seems like they're kind of both clicking, and then when they don't, they just bounce back the next day. And I'm pretty sure, weren't they almost 20 games below 500 at one point?
At one point, yeah.
And they've really been winning a lot of games lately to kind of catch up. Good to see.
Yeah, obviously, I know I mentioned, right, DeGrom pitching there today. I know it's a sold-out crowd. If you're going to get there early, be kind to the people working there. Trust me, it's not fun when you just have people down your throats like they sometimes deal with. So.
I'm going to make a prediction. DeGrom's going to touch 102 miles an hour tonight.
Okay. I don't know about that, but okay. Look, both Rochester and Syracuse obviously home this weekend. Decent-looking weekend. Get out to the ballpark if you can. Obviously, Syracuse, maybe not so tonight. Obviously, sold-out crowd. But, over the weekend for both Rochester and Syracuse, get out to a game if you can.
He should at least go, I would think, 2 to 3 innings.
Oh, at minimum. Yeah, they'll probably really try and extend them out today.
I think he's up to like 45, 50 pitches.
Yeah. All right, that wraps up Concrete Jungle for today. If you don't watch live here on YouTube, you can catch my time there, listen and watch on Spotify and listen on Anchor. Any exciting stuff? I know, Kyle, where you're kind of heading, so what exciting things do you have planned this weekend?
Yankee Stadium. Going to be there Friday night and Saturday night. It should be a great time. Don't know how the pitching situation is going to go, but I'm just looking forward to seeing the Yankees at the stadium again. It's been just over a year since I've last been there.
Nice. Nate, anything exciting for you on tap?
Nothing too exciting for me, just regular weekend pretty much. Kyle, have some fun up there. Be safe.
Nate's
travels.
Nate's a liar, folks, by the way.
Thanks, Nate.
I'm a liar?
Yeah. You're going to Luke Bryan tomorrow.
That would be fun, yes. CMAC's always a great spot to watch a concert.
Yeah. All right. Takes care of it here from here.
Wait, Paul, what are you up to?
My bad.
What are you up
I
to?
literally have my usual stuff going on this weekend. It's about the most ho-hum weekend here in the next few weeks that I have, in all honesty.
Any chance you're getting out to Syracuse? Or
No, not this weekend. I got stuff in the works for the next 2 weekends, so.
Maybe Yankee Stadium next month?
Never say never. Anyway, that takes care of it here on Concrete Jungle. We'll talk to everybody on Monday. Special episode Monday, right? Just recapping the games, and we'll do a little all-star stuff. So until Monday, have an awesome week, everybody. We'll talk to you then.